I'm looking for our next presenter and I cannot see him. Where is? There are too many Konstantins here. So we need to reveal the real Konstantin Pavlidis. Real Konstantin, reveal yourself.
I'm here, Dimitri. I'm here. I've been
Okay,
listening.
here you are. Okay, yeah. So I'm making you a co-host.
Okay, give me a moment.
Yes, you are on.
All right. Well, I need to access now the PowerPoint presentation. And
do you have a video? Can you turn on the video, or you will be?
Yeah, I will do that in a minute. I will do that very soon. Yeah. Because I'm not ready. No questions for anything, because I'm just putting something together now to finish off what I'm doing. What I need to present.
Well, you see the questions about Sputnik. There are more questions than answers in this field. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, in fact, I can say that this recommendation that I have given to Elizabeth, I had found myself long ago when there was no BioWell, before when just the Sputnik was made, the first one that I've made. And Professor Kortkov was insisting on making it faster and faster so that people can do the measurements very fast because everyone is in a hurry. And but I've been doing experiments in different modes in the same room, and I've been doing an experiment with the image every second, then every 3 seconds, every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, and every 20 seconds. And it turned out that results are absolutely different. Absolutely different. Of course, after some time, when you increase the distance between the captures, the differences disappear. So it stays the same, the result. But from 1 second to almost 10 or even more seconds, there is a big difference in the results, in variability and sensitivity of the system. And it was Vadim Seedov from Germany who has presented many years ago about his findings just on the chemistry of gas, of air, that some gases in the air, their relaxation period after the excitation with the high voltage and high frequency that we made, the relaxation period is not 1 second. It's not even 5 seconds. Some of the gases that are present in the air relax back to the neutral position, to their ground position. According in quantum physics, it's called ground position, ground level, in 20 or 25 seconds. So it means that if you want to have a absolutely fresh new discharge every time you're doing it, you need to wait, because the area around the metal cylinder is in, like Elizabeth said, in stress. Yeah, it's already excited. So you need to wait. And if you really want to study some really subtle things, you need to have, you know, as few discharges as possible. And you can find on our website, umap.club website, some papers about such events when people were able to detect with the Sputnik the influence of the event before the event starts. But they were doing this one image per 30 seconds or every like 60 seconds. It depends how big is the event or what the timing is made. But that's true. In order to sense really small things, you have to be slow. It's like the principle of uncertainty, right? that tells us if you can do either only two things. Either you know the position exactly, but you don't know the speed, or you know the speed, but then you don't know the position. So in this way, it's also true. Okay, Konstantin, are you ready now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
And I'm just in the process. Do I do share screen?
Will you switch on the video camera or not?
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second.
So I will switch everyone to you.
Where am I? Where's my video camera?
Ah, no,
I've got
okay.
the sound on.
Okay. So
You know why?
There's
something. Hang on, I'm going to do something right now. Just give me a moment.
It seems you are logged in from two devices.
Bravo. Because I was mobile. The other one was sat, and then I could move around where I am. I'm currently in Lisbon trying to take care of other tasks whilst listening to all the very important stuff that is being dealt with. So just give me a second. I'll switch this one off so there won't be any
interferences.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So.
Okay.
I just need some volume up on my side.
Yes, you are on and everybody's watching you. So
great. So I'm going to present Orassy Integrative Medicine, a new medical paradigm, and the way in which we have integrated different devices, including the biowell, for a different application. So I'll just begin with this initially. Okay, so I'll minimize this. Can everyone see now?
Yes, Newtonian Mechanics approach.
Yep, excellent.
Here you go.
So conventional allopathic medicine is based on Newtonian physics and a biology that is founded on scientific materialism. This is what we've been talking about regarding what Professor Vallejo was talking about, the fact that we're still in a 19th century perception of how everything functions. So the physical idea that matter is the ground of all being. So we have explored, myself, I've been working with also Amit Goswami for some years, but at the Orassy from 2008, the incompleteness of this approach and the anomalies and paradoxes that go unaddressed. So science that is within the primacy of consciousness means when we start perceiving things from consciousness, the metaphysics that consciousness and not matter is the ground of all being is what we do when we're approaching things from a quantum physics perspective and applying it to biological systems. So we show that once medicine is formulated within that primacy, it will become clear how to make the practice a truly holistic one. So the quantum biophysics is in integrative medicine not only needs the help of quantum physics, but also an integrative biology as its basis toward a purposeful direction of our evolution. We introduce a new quantum biology based on the primacy of consciousness and quantum physics, and also subjectivity and heterogeneity into biology. We also look at how the new biology defines our relationship with our ecosystem and with the biorhythms of the earth. We cannot separate ourselves. In fact, I'm currently still in Lisbon because I've been here for 5 days for a conference on the way in which we have damaged the ocean and the environment, mainly through plastics. And 99% of the people did not even consider that this was the result of an oversight on our part as humans, our mindset, where we were basically ignorant and at the same time not taking responsibility. So the mindset has to include the impact we have on the environment, not just physically, but through consciousness, energetically. So let's look at the different types of medicine. Complementary medicine looks at a wide range of practices that now complement allopathic practice or can be used on their own to reduce. An alternative medical system looks at alternative means of treatment to allopathy. So it's usually experience-based and offers tailor-made solutions for the client. Many different areas make up the practice of complementary and alternative medicine. The traditional medicine is generally seen as the ancient medical practices that are documented and passed from generation on to generation, mostly using herbal and natural ways of healing, such as Ayurveda, Chinese, traditional Chinese, Tibetan, Mongolian, and other systems from Japan, which is Kampo, and Jamu from Indonesia. Energy medicine, on the other hand, when I talk about it, most people get the impression of something like Reiki, which I call bioenergy medicine. It's about non-substance-based medicine with a strong usage of devices and instruments instead of supplements and drugs. This is based on the idea that the body can reproduce all the necessary substances internally if it activates the natural healing abilities correctly. I will show you the ones that I use at the clinic soon. Allopathy, as we know, is science-based modern medicine, such as the use of chemically based medications or surgery to treat or suppress symptoms of disease. It's best applied for severe and acute emergency cases, accident and emergency. You know, we have quite a few broken bones after a car accident, etc. However, it is highly ineffective for psychosomatic disorders and chronic conditions. So my approach to integrative medicine incorporates everything we've just mentioned based on the life state of a person. It's often misunderstood or mistaken for holistic medicine and is based on the view for a multi-level approach to a person's health, meaning the way in which, the way I'm referring to this, the impact of our thoughts, feelings, and our senses on the physical body and the body electric, and how all of those are interconnected through consciousness. So the integrative medical principles that we are referring to starts with the doctor-patient relationship. I say we have three gods in life: our parents, our teachers, and the doctor. We grow out of our parents, eventually we leave home. We obviously don't stay at school forever, so we also leave being students in that sense, the formal sense, but the doctors are always present in life. And the main aspect that they represent is authority. And the biggest problem I have observed, having had a clinic and been working in this field for over 4 decades, is that the client has always got this subconscious attitude where the doctor itself is the authority and the responsible person. So we bring all our problems, put them on a tray, and hand them to the doctor and say, fix it for me, please. This is why we look very much at patient responsibility so that we can begin to develop a much more holistic understanding of ourselves in the process of receiving help. Most people are not very good at enabling themselves or allowing themselves to be helped because of this issue of the, I will call it the professional responsibility factor between the client or patient and the healthcare professional. So therefore, a preventative medicine is based on the education of the client, and then this will impact the future outlook of integrative medicine. It is not holistic medicine where we have many different therapists in one center, like the original European polyclinic model. And we have a director whose job it is to take the details of the patient and try to farm out to the different, for the patient, the different therapists according to what their needs are at that point in time. So we also have an integrative computerized information platform. I call it an ICIP. This principle is not limited to particular diagnostic or therapeutic devices or techniques. It represents an interface between specific soft and hardware mechanisms of information exchange. The most important aspect is to maintain a balance between the principles of the 4 domains. Allopathic medicine is based on mechanistic science, and it works in union with CAM, complementary alternative medicine, which is supported, CAM itself is supported by wisdom traditions and is suitable for diverse ethnic groups and nationalities. There is a big issue, and they make a big issue of it in the United Kingdom, where the medicines that are used for people of Afro-Caribbean, African descent, and even Indian descent are not suitable because they are made based mostly on research done in terms of the trials, clinical trials on Europeans. So when we have an ICIP like this, we can take into consideration these factors. Likewise, the psychology which exists today was developed by Freud and Jung, and Freud was assisted by Rosen and Kant, and they are all Europeans. So to use a system that was born in Europe for all people around the planet, my perception of that was inadequate. And that's why I'm going to move into how I'm approaching how this particular system will shift and evolve into mind health. Anyway, in general, this approach is the realization of a quantum worldview where a person and or the environment are seen from a holistic perspective on multiple levels of their existence. The impact that they have on their own lives and other people's lives, not just the environment, and also the collective, which means their community and their nation from a karmic perspective. So progressing forward using the ICIP, we at stage 1, when a person comes to us, we have 3 levels, which I will explain in a minute, but the immediate level of assessment procedure is the biowell, and then we use the brain tap for the person in terms of intervention to experience some level of shift in their conscious awareness of what is happening in their subconscious, I'll just call it domains. So here you can see how the wisdom traditions support the CAM and science underpins and supports allopathy. And there is the beginning, middle, and then an after, meaning stage 1, 2, and 3 for the overall approach. So energy medicine acting as a bridge in the K-to-MA application, which is the complementary alternative traditional energy medicine allopathy application. The types of energy that I use is light in the form of infrared and laser, sound in the form of ultrasound, electricity in the form of pens and scanner, magnetism in the form of bar magnets that have been, they're large ones, so they have large waves, up to about 50 hertz in stimulation, bioresonance devices, of which there are many and I will show them, and a Tesla plasma device, which is in the picture there. I discovered that about 2 years ago. It was made in 1920 and it was refurbished. It generates 30 to 50,000 volts with hardly any amperage, less than half an ampere. And it was used back in those days from 1890 until the 1930s for over 300 medically. I have a book that's written in German, and there were medically stipulated disorders at the time. So we also use low-level light therapy wearables, which is photomedicine, and this market is said to, it is anticipated to reach nearly $500 million revenue in US dollars by 2026. That's a cap that stimulates the overall cranium, but you can use these devices in different parts of the body, as you can see, the thigh and the ankle, around the shoulders, the waist. Then we've just got the some science behind the way light, low-level light assists in angiogenesis and neovascularization, collagen production, muscle regeneration and muscular atrophy. It decreases the inflammation and edema, increases nerve regeneration, cartilage production, and bone formation. So it's quite helpful. These are clinical effects. Then we're looking again at another application, and this is also looking at how we can use this to inspire other people who, in particular, since the COVID situation, the pandemic, have basically lost a lot of their clients in terms of the way in which they have been working. And we're trying to introduce a new way of assisting the overall therapeutic approach using low-level light therapy. This one here uses LEDs, the skin contact with the detection sensor, temperature control sensor, etc. Then the brain tap. This is a normal person. It's an illustration before and after brainwave synchronization. After 15 minutes, you can see a lot more synchronization, and by 25 minutes, it looks relatively quite balanced between the left and right cortexes of the brain. We're looking at brainwave entrainment. This is known as the sleep mask. This is a development opportunity as well. Global sleep tech devices in the US has become the largest market within the country in 2020. And in India, it's the fastest growing market, and the estimation market size between 2020 and 2030 is to generate, I believe we're talking 12.8 billion and 49 billion. So it's a rapidly growing market of interest. Now, in London, our approach regarding the integrative medicine We start with the assessment. We use the BioWell, TimeWaver, and live blood analysis. We then move into consultation, where we send the patient to an integrative medical doctor. We then look at the evolution process of choosing the direction of treatment, nutrition, and changes in lifestyle. We then, at the application, looks at starting a program of treatment for the progress and monitoring it, which is very specific after we've done the assessment to that particular patient. And then we take them on a journey of transformation, creation of the individual program for educating the person to transform their consciousness. What that means is getting them to be a lot more aware of what's going on inside on multiple levels and having them take charge. I call it waking up a person out of the boot of the car, having them sit in the back seat and seeing that all their life that someone else has been navigating and something else has been driving the vehicle. So we show them the navigation process and pathways and teach them how to take charge of their lives. It's actually a 9-step process. The first is the self-assessed self-perception through a questionnaire that we send online. The second is therapist-guided self-perception. So first they have an idea of how they look to themselves, and then we look at that through the intervention and give them further input. Then there's the medical examination and consultation. We do the live and dry blood analysis and functional testing. In the medical examination, there is the simple medical level, and there is a more complex one where we take bloods, we send off the samples and urine samples to a laboratory for further feedback. Step 5 is a unique non-invasive quantum technology assessment. 6, the environmental analysis through quantum feng shui, where we go to their home and we do an analysis with the eco tester and on their body, as well as myself doing the analysis for disturbing presences. We also do a test based on local authority results for masts and cables and underwater streams, etc., etc. And then all that information is brought together, team collaboration and data collation, and then the program director consults the person, and finally we execute the program and with follow-up. So, what are the methods and devices? There's a consultation with the integrative medical practitioner. We use the BioWell for the psycho-emotional state. We use live blood analysis. We use the TimeWaver Med, which is the basic scan, TimeWaver heart rate variability analysis, which is a medical grade device, a TimeWaver pulse analysis, also a medical grade device determining the real age of their cardiovascular system, the TimeWaver organ coherence, organs cooperation, TimeWaver Med, the full scan of all systems, and finally the capnometer, which is an assessment of the CO2, which is exhaled, and it's an indirect assessment of the activity of their kidneys as well. The gas discharge, we know this device allows us to look at the effects of the psychomental on the physical body and what stressors are causing the biggest problems. It maps out the functioning of the sympathetic and parasympathetic parts of the autonomic nervous system in order to see how well these systems work together. The incoherence between the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems is what we refer to as stress. And depending on which organ or body system we find highest stress, we can trace true cause to effect for both the psycho-emotional as well as the physical conditions leading to illness and disease. TimeWaver suite of devices, the main levels of the analysis: spiritual, socio-systemic, psychological, informational, energetic, vibrational, physiological, detoxification, microbacterial, and symptomatic. This is what we mean by many levels of analysis. Then the organ coherence scan analysis examines the quality of this energy in the information field, indicating the connection of the respective organ to the patient's intact information field. The organ coherence module evaluates the coherence of all organ fields and performs a cause-oriented analysis in the information field. The organ coherence database contains information of all essential organs and systems of the body that are divided into 52 categories with more than 2,000 organ details. Then we look at the TimeWaver full body scan. It's similar to the organ coherence, but we can also see at the whole body level all the components and much more in-depth detail about the parts that make up the body muscles, nerves, arteries, bones, organs, and cells will be scanned in detail. Then the TimeWaver heart rate variability allows for stress analysis to be performed on 4 levels consisting of 13 parameters. They are grouped according to vegetative nervous system or relation of sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system and general overall energy. The regulatory ability of the systems with acute and chronic stress parameters. The combined view of heart rate variability plus extra systoles or contractions showing the stress state of a person. Then the stress state of a person with 6 parameters on their correlation to the psychoneurological, endocrine, immune system, the mind, nerves, hormone, and the immune system. The TimeWaver pulse system is a specialist system for the determination of hemodynamics and the flexibility of the arteries. It measures different parameters like peripheral blood pressure, central aortic blood pressure, heart minute volume, and peripheral resistance in the vessels, augmentation index, augmentation pressure, pulse wave speed, and its reflective coefficient. That's a very deep and accurate measurement of the overall vascular system. Live blood analysis is the qualitative analysis of living blood under an exceptionally powerful microscope and then captured on a camera. During the analysis, the patient has the opportunity to see the immune system activity amongst many other phenomena that would be missed by conventional techniques, such as the relative level of acidity in the blood fluids and the effect of these acids on the organism as a whole, relative immune activity, status of red blood cells, which changes in their form and function. That's to do with stickiness and deformations within the blood cells, etc. Presence of parasites, bacteria, fungi, and yeast, which are very visible. The balance in the blood glucose, malabsorption of fats, proteins, and other nutrients, the presence of pathogenic spores and mycotoxins in cholesterol, and the presence of the consequences of the digestive tract dysfunction. Then we look at the main difference from the allopathic approach. With this approach, its easiness is based on most of the techniques are non-invasive. All the techniques have high sensitivity and accuracy, which were already shown in hundreds of cases in our clinic. The entire diagnosis takes around 3 hours together with the conclusions, which saves time of a clinic, client in the clinic. The only other place in London that is similar takes up to a week to give what we can call statistically significant results, and it costs about 5 times more. The entire diagnosis takes around 3 hours, as I've mentioned. All the shown techniques work together in coordination, which allows one to find a cause to the current life state of a client in a very short time. Now, in Russia, we have a different complex where we've used the FORCE platform, the EEG and the SACAR. I'll explain what they're about. The spiroarteriocardiorythmography, which is the SACAR, is a complex, non-invasive express diagnostic system developed by Russian scientist Professor Leonid Noskin. It allows to measure simultaneously the lungs' living volume, the exhale-inhale speed, dynamic blood pressure, dynamic heart rate variability, means not in vegetative state, but moving whilst riding a bicycle or walking on a treadmill, and the organism adaptive reserve. This is the main purpose for this. Here is an example of a breathing technique that I have been teaching for about 40 years. And inhale, exhale, you can see from left to right. What happened was that the heart rate variability was augmented, the blood pressure decreased, and basically there was an overall quietening of the mind. This technique was also used in another experiment, which was done in Moscow State Pedagogic University as Department of Biology, and it was based on looking at the impact of meditative state on these parameters as well. The EEG, electroencephalography of the brain, is a modern non-invasive study of the brain's functional state by registering its bioelectric activity. It's comfortable for the meditator because this is the main way in which we've used it in Russia, and it doesn't disturb the process. We use a 32-channel simultaneously with a 5 millisecond resolution. It requires quietness in movement to avoid artifacts, standard position for all practices, and the results require detailed analysis and repetitiveness in statistics. We're looking at the fourth platform known as stabilography, or posturography, is a method of analyzing a person's ability to control body posture and providing biofeedback on the support reaction. It detects body shift in the XYZ axis, lower brain structures activity, natural tremor, center of gravity, and mass center stability. We're able to make conclusions about how much a person is present in the body when they meditate. As Konstantin said yesterday, Korakov, there are many styles of meditation, and I've studied many of them and have defined 4 conditions: outer awareness and outer focus, outer awareness and inner focus, inner awareness, inner focus, inner awareness, and outer focus. And there are 4 main different styles, such as the Zen meditation, the Bhakti type of meditations on the heart for what we call devotion. There is the transcendental meditation style, which goes out into the universe, outer awareness and outer focus. And then finally, the Vipassana style, where it's inner awareness, inner focus. So this system is in sync with our other devices. And the normal position is to stand on the platform, but for the first time in history of this technology, we're analyzing the lotus and the half lotus position. What does it look like? Well, there's a standing position, and there's a sample of the graph there on the bottom right-hand side. The complex is also, it enables a complex estimation of the psychomotor functions. It allows us to analyze the state of an individual's psychomotor systems in 5 to 7 minutes. The test allows us to check the criteria of the psychomotor activity, such as speed of the transference of information between the visual, the audio systems, and the memory into muscles, compare the neurological connection between left and right side of the body, estimate the precision and flow of a movement. And this methodology helps us to find out the quality of psychomotor functions on many levels of an organism. The data enables us to estimate a predisposition to the pathologies of a movement and the tiredness, and also make an objective choice for rehabilitative and corrective programs. What type of programs are going to be most suitable for the person that we have tested? So, we also have used in the past the laser correction, this is correlation, sorry, spectroscopy, sorry. This is a sensitive device method for estimating characteristics of dispersion of light according to the spectrum of intensity. The results of the biological solution test reveals information about the size of the particles. They have subfractional composition. Minimal concentration sensitivity for the protein is less than 100 microkilograms per milliliter. The approach fields are immune reactions registration, the autoimmune sensibilization and allergies, and the general pattern of various diseases, which are catabolic, anabolic types of metabolism. So these are the different devices that we have used, and here are some examples of the distribution and evaluation of clusters of metabolism. So the KTMR, which I've just mentioned what the KTMR system is earlier, in application to mind health. So Orassy Mind Health, currently there are 970 million people worldwide. Actually, this is a little old now, it's 2018. So it's increased by these figures. They have mental health or substance abuse disorder. Anxiety is the most common mental illness in the world. The mortality rate of those with mental disorders is significantly higher than the general population, with a median life expectancy of 10.1 years less. And it is estimated that mental disorders are attributable to 14.3% of deaths worldwide. So, mental health problem, the worldwide and EU situation. Mental health disorders were 36.5. I believe they've gone up to 50% now, because that was a statistic that takes us back to 2017. And the disorders are ranked as the 6th largest contributor to non-fatal health loss globally, and appear in the top 10 causes of years lived with disability in the World Health Organization regions. So we're just looking at some statistics on mental health. mental health in the UK, the last 2 years, is costing, the social cost of mental health is around 120 billion pounds. The Royal College of Psychiatrists has estimated for the, this is the budget, for 23 to 24, an additional budget. This would enable to deliver the level of care committed to the long-term plan while taking account of extra demand placed on the services because of COVID. So if you look at the statistics, and also the final one, mental health services revenue investment to support COVID recovery and additional resource to ensure long-term plan delivery. The cost to the system far exceeds the investment, the current investment in the UK. But if we look at the situation in Europe, this is the mental health situation in Europe. 82.7 million people in the EU affected by mental disorder, according to Science Business, and 600 billion euros are spent every year. This is sorry, the cost of the disorders, which is a staggering burden that many psychiatrists believe may increase further after the 2020-21 lockdowns of uncertainty. We know that this cost has now been offset by a huge investment, especially that trend started in the United States. The US-based mental health concerns, these are different statistics. This is Mental Health USA. 2019, around 11% of US adults reported experiencing symptoms of anxiety, depression. It has skyrocketed to 42% by December 2020. So there is a great necessity to begin to take more care and look into the impact of all of this on our general lives. So, corporate partnerships. What we are offering are potential business partners a unique opportunity to assess and support their staff. We can partner with various businesses and organizations that offer mind health services to their infrastructure. This will improve their overall performance, productivity, and employer-employee relationships. We can further expand this relationship to develop a community of like-minded groups enabling their businesses to grow. It enables a collaboration that supports individual and collective initiatives toward a more self-generating and sustainable infrastructure. And finally, corporate plans will start from £1,500 per employee. This is basically our offer to them. Then we look at the corporate markets, examples of target corporate markets. Education to reduce stress in the pre-examination stage and enhance the performance results of all students. Fitness to optimize the training procedure, achieving mental, emotional, physical fitness and life goals faster and safer. Quantum mind power training for personal trainers and professional life coaches. HR departments, reduction of absenteeism, burnout prevention, workflow balancing, the new mind health model beyond psychiatry and psychology, and also various therapeutic and medical health systems. And Brainwave, currently now the Brainwave Entrainment, the global wearable brain devices market, the share, this is the end user by 2021, the global market size was nearly 250 million. And this is uses within hospitals, clinics, neurology centers, research and academics, ambulatory surgery centers, diagnostic centers, athletes and military personnel, etc. So we move on to saying now, looking at, we've improved technology and now technologies are able to help us improve. Powered by technology, our system helps to objectively assess a person's stress level and create a personalized audio-visual program according to their needs. Our vision is initially, mind health becomes a new international standard for health and self-development. Instead of a work out, we concentrate on a work in, so a new fitness model. It's meant to develop attention span, concentration, clarity, leading to more success and longevity, and efficiency and effectiveness in health, wealth, direction, relationships, and love among people, in their families and among communities. The Orassy Mind Health, our solution model, basically is a combination of two technologies: the BioWell assessment of the effects of emotions and thoughts on the hormonal activity, i.e. stress, and the BrainTap, personalized set of binaural beats, guided visualization, 10-cycle holographic music, isochronic tones to provide relaxation, energy recharge, better mood, and higher productivity. Now, how does it work? The Orassy Mind Health solution addresses psychophysical metrics, which looks at the effect of our thoughts and feelings have on our physical body. It focuses on the brain-body connection, allowing us to improve inner awareness, communication, and performance in daily life. We address the impact that the mental and emotional state of a person has on their physical body and overall health through the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis of the hormonal nervous system connection. The BioWell is a device that allows us to look at the effects of the psycho-emotional condition in the physical body and what stressors are causing the biggest problems. It maps out the functioning of the sympathetic, parasympathetic parts of the autonomic nervous system in order to see how well these systems work together. The incoherence between the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems is what we refer to as stress. Depending on which organ or body system we find the highest stress in, we can trace true cause to effect for both the psycho-emotional as well as the psycho-physical conditions leading to illness and disease. Psychometrics is a field of study concerned with theory and technique of psychological measurement. Some psychometric researchers focus on the construction and validation of assessment instruments such as questionnaires, tests, psychological symptom scales, and personality. The field is concerned with the objective measurement of skills and knowledge, abilities, attitudes, personality traits, clinical constructs, and mental disorders, as well as education achievement. We are using psychometrics on a completely new scale, combining powerful technologies and 40 years of experience to provide an accurate stress levels result and a custom-made sensory remedy. How we differentiate. Conventional physical or medical checkups cannot detect a person's mental or emotional state. The combination of data and information from our different technologies enables us to gather and compile a rapid, accurate snapshot of a person's condition. And finally, in-depth insight. It offers in-depth insight into a person's current health and life state, indicating what needs to be addressed immediately instead of waiting weeks or months before the symptom appears on physical levels as an illness. The BrainTap is a proprietary neuro algorithm that is a proven way to relax, reboot, and revitalize. The neuro algorithm produces brainwave entrainment, the synchronization of brainwaves to a specialized sound with no user effort. And this offers a full spectrum brainwave activity using the matrix of neuroactivity. Each of BrainTap sessions is encoded differently to ensure maximum neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, resulting in a flexible and resilient brain. The principles are binaural beats, guided visualization, 10-cycle, holographic music, and isochronic tones. The power of the BrainTap headset is that it delivers gentle light pulses that travel through the retina and the ear meridians, sending direct signals to the brain and guiding you into unparalleled brain states. Pulsing light in the correct pattern and intensity can produce levels of deep relaxation known to affect serotonin and endorphin levels with an average increase of 21% in one study. These increases not only can calm and relax the mind, but also produce powerful effects in maintaining a positive outlook and optimistic thinking. These are results, different results. The BrainTap, this is a 2-week pilot study of university students. There were sessions effectively improved quality of sleep as assessed by Pittsburgh Quality of Sleep Index. There are a lot of other studies, which I will just very briefly go through. A single session with the headset significantly increased heart rate variability and parasympathetic activity, as well as decreased stress. Although the results did not achieve statistical significance when compared to the baseline, the ABE positively affected scores related to anxiety, general health, stress, quality of sleep, as well as work, productivity, activity impairment, and telemarketers. So I'll just go through a little bit quickly. Results indicate this is the sleepiness scale, that the AB significantly increased quality of sleep of university students. A larger sample size study is necessary to confirm the extent and effects of the AB on mood. Insomnia index was also looked at. Classification follows the absence of insomnia, lower limit for insomnia, and then we look at the moderate clinical insomnia, severe clinical insomnia, and the NS is the not statistically significant. Quality of sleep index there. Depression and anxiety has been tested. Perceived stress has been tested. And so we're coming toward the end where the current model requires physical presence of a client in front of devices. After the assessment, a specialized audio can be sent or downloaded to the client via the BrainTap app. The next stage product will allow a client to be autonomous and create personalized therapy for each session. After the current seed stage of the project, we are ready to combine the two technologies with a new set of neuro interface powered by AI. And finally, meditations. These are guided meditations. BrainTap creates a variety of personalized audio experiences, including guided meditations. Existing apps for meditation provide very little or zero assessment of the current user's state. Most of these procedures are based on self-reporting and aren't objective. We are collaborating with the BrainTap developers to create a unique set of meditations that will integrate with the highly accurate readings from the BioWell. And that is the end of the presentation. Does anyone have any observations, comments, questions? Just something you'd like to say?
We can switch off the screen sharing, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay.
We can. Indeed.
Yes, thank you very much, Konstantin, for sharing this concept that you are developing for many years already. I know,
yeah,
really many years, and it's evolving and evolving, and new technologies are appearing and new devices are getting integrated into this concept. And well, my only wish is that it will be scaled up and worldwide, not only in your London clinic and during your seminars in some specific countries, but it can be scaled up worldwide, because the concept is very good and very informative, and I'm sure is very effective. Tiffany is asking a question. Do you have plans to franchise your method?
Yeah, we're doing that right now. As a result of COVID, where people were scared to come because the clinic is there, we have license, we were open all the way through, but even our own clients didn't realize, even though we send them emails and our newsletter had indicated that we're open. So what I've done is I've pivoted the business and pared it down to create products and two main services. One is the mind health, the other one is traumatology, because I've been dealing with injuries for 4 decades and doing mental health from 1990, where I worked in a psychiatric unit in Berlin with alternative methods, because all they could do was offer drugs and painting therapy and stuff like that. So yes, we are exactly in the process. In fact, why I came to Lisbon here for this Oceans conference is that the person who's organized, not the UN side of it, but the assisting side of it, used to do the marketing strategies and whatever for Homes Place and fitness centers. And he's very keen on looking at how we can take mind health into many different contexts, such as the ones that I mentioned earlier: education, HR departments, sports centers, etc., etc. Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, yeah, well, waiting for, and if anyone else has some questions, that's
hence the business model that's there, because we're aware that a lot of people lost their work. We can retrain people who are in different fields into this field. We will give them initial training and then 80 hours of monitored, clinically monitored training, because myself and Ellie's background is psychology with a specialization. She has a master's degree in addictions and sexual disorders, and then she's a kinesiologist, and then I'm working with the doctor. He's, although he's a surgeon, he's now working with me on using, it's not PRP, platelet-rich plasma, because with that, they normally heat the plasma in order for the platelets to enrich and become more like a gel. We don't heat it according to the system of Renat Akhmedov, Professor Renat Akhmedov, originally a Tatar, but did his education in Moscow and functions out of Moscow and Germany with the plasma lifting technique. And that I am adding adjuvants to in order for the pain, because it's very good for pain relief and cosmetology. So this is an addition to our franchising model. Yeah, let the mind health get, well, with the help of Dimitri, we're going to look at more parameters in how we're going to use the BioWell, but the brain tap is also going to be expanded so that we can have monitoring of other parameters such as blood pressure, heart rate variability, and EEG. So we gather more data as the person is using the device. So that's all in the pipeline.
And the question also, what is your experience about interaction between brain tap and BioWell? What is the correlation between them, etc.?
Yeah, that's what we are working on. We use them together all the time. Basically, we use the BioWell as an introductory insight for the client to see exactly what is going on in their current life state, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system condition. Then we use the brain tap, and then we do another reading. And in every single case, there is an improvement in the management of the stress, and the also, well, we show them the chakra alignment and the energy field, etc. So, but we use them together all the time. It's in a before and after sequence. That means BioWell, brain tap, BioWell, and we've recorded all of that. So someone asked something else, I can't remember. The low level light therapy is very successful. That's being developed by my partner. He's based in Florida. He's a Brazilian. He's a professor of integrative medicine from a university there, and he's also, this is his line, and I have been using it because I've developed my own light therapy system from 2010, and the two of us are working on, well, we've explained earlier in one of those slides, all of the positive results of low-level light therapy. Is there anything else? Anyone? Oh, absolutely. We will be doing, thanks, Tiffany. Yeah, there's a control group and then obviously a placebo group, because all the tests that Francisco conducts have randomized double-blinded placebo as a foundation. So that's how they are done. And we're looking for funding at the moment for that type of testing. Concussions, yeah. What's the question exactly, Tiffany?
Have you had any success with concussions with red light therapy?
Low. I haven't used it for that myself, so I don't know how much of that has been low-level light therapy has been used for concussions. I can find out and inform yourselves. Yeah.
Okay, so I am searching for our next presenter because I cannot see him in the list. But it's Hesham Sami. So he was intended to be the last one speaker at our Congress. And I cannot see him in the list, and I don't know if maybe he is named in some other under some other name, but still cannot reach him, and I cannot see him. So until he reveals himself, because I cannot see him yet, we can have some questions and answers to the presenters. because Vladimir Vayekov is still here, Elizabeth is here, Konstantin is here, Tiffany is here from yesterday's lecture. So anybody else? Well, these are, well, I'm here too. I have been presenting, I remember. I will switch on the opportunity for people to switch on the microphones themselves if they want to ask some question to anyone, to any of the presenters that are now online. Anybody welcome, and I will check. Yeah, so we have made the...
Konstantin. Hello.
Yeah.
Glad to see you.
How are you?
Thank you. Very interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, as Dimitri said, it's constantly evolving because actually, to be honest, 1990, I went to the office of the Dalai Lama in Pathankot in India because I had clients in London who were Indian, and they had connections there, and I was able to go and speak with him because I was looking for what I considered at the time a world medical system. And it took time because the technologies that we're talking about today were not around in 1990. So I've been at it for a long time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Good.
Mm-hmm.